following podcast contains references to the consumption of alcohol. If you are not of legal drinking age, please do not consume alcohol. Also, if you are of legal drinking age, please drink responsibly.
Rhetorical Magic Cocktail Hour. My name is Ryan, and my favorite roadside attraction is the museum I used to work at.
And I'm Matthew, and my favorite roadside attraction is Stalling for Time, the Chicken Farmer Rock in New Hampshire.
The Chicken Farmer Rock in New Hampshire? What's that?
It's a rock that somebody wrote, "Chicken Farmer, I love you" on, and now it's a roadside attraction.
I want to go there. What state is it in?
New Hampshire.
I don't
Basically,
want to go
like
to New Hampshire.
to Maine. It's Vermont, but upside down.
Oh yeah. I was like, no, you're thinking about Vermont because that one's the V. But it's the same. If it's true for one, it's true for the other.
And this is a podcast.
This is a podcast
where we know state shapes.
This is a podcast where we also like to have a drink and be succinct about various topics and goings-ons and
how's the doozies?
I
don't know what I was trying to say there.
Whatchamacallits.
How do you do this?
We're pretty good at the first part. We're really good at having a drink. The succinct bit, there's room for growth.
Character growth.
But Matthew, what are you drinking tonight?
Today is a special day.
Today is a special day.
As we know. It's a certain redhead's birthday.
It is.
And in honor of Amy Adams, I'm having a shandy. It's funny because it's my birthday, but it's also Amy Adams' birthday.
Do you really share a birthday with her?
Mm-hmm.
You also share a birthday with my boss. I found that out like a week ago.
Twist, I am your boss. Takes off mask.
Oh, God.
The long con. This is entrapment.
No.
Yeah, it's like Amy Adams, Andrew Garfield, the guy from Lord of the Rings, and the third one, who was also on Fringe.
I literally don't think I could tell you one celebrity I share a birthday with.
See, my dad and I, like, every day look at IMDb for the celebrity birthdays. And then just text each other to be like, hey, it's this person's birthday. And then my dad will be like, yep. And that's
Does
our
he
relationship.
text the same thing to you sometimes?
Yeah. And I'm just
that's
like, yep.
That's so cute.
And that's our relationship.
I
just
love
kidding.
that.
We love each other. That made it sound like we had a very formal IMDb friendship.
My father and I are colleagues only.
My father and I are acquaintances who talk about IMDb birthdays.
That's the one thing you had in common. It was just like you enjoy looking up random celebrities' birthdays on any given day.
That and the Weather Channel. The two things all dads love, that I apparently also love. What are you drinking?
It's summertime. It's cool and chill, and I need that sweet, refreshing, delicious lemonade flavor in a wheat beer, so I'm also drinking a shandy.
Ooh, fancy.
We're both drinking out of bottles this time. How fun.
How quaint. Speaking of quaint.
Speaking of quaint, Matthew and I are precious. And we decided that we were going to play travel agent. What?
It works. So basically, we thought it would be fun if we planned trips for each other. And now we're going to present them.
Oh, man. Before we get into the actual traveling, do you want to talk about where's, like, your favorite place that you've traveled so far?
I think that it's more about the friends we made along the way than the places we've gone. But if I was to give a real answer, it would be Branson, Missouri. And if I was to give a realer answer, one time I went on a trip by myself to Wisconsin, and that was cool, even though I did not give myself enough time to, like, vibe in the space. But, like, I stared wistfully out onto Lake Michigan. I ate some fish and chips, and I looked at some foliage. So that was fun. What about you, Ryan?
This is gonna be, like, because it's, like, a long time ago, but when I was 7, my whole family went to Chicago.
Chi-town.
And that was really fun. Yep. Beantown.
Bean. Where the beans are from.
Where
Or is
that
that
big
Boston?
old bean lives.
Why isn't the bean in Boston? Big question of the day.
Because the artist that made it is a dick. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. That guy's an asshole. I don't remember his name, and he doesn't get his name on. He doesn't get the credit.
His name is dick. The Bean. His name is Rowan Atkinson, Ryan. Show some respect.
Doesn't even... I think the artist doesn't even like that people call it the Bean.
What is there to do in Chicago besides watch improv and freeze?
We went to Shed's Aquarium, which when you're a kid, that's like the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. We went to Navy Pier.
Is the Field Museum in Chicago?
I have no idea. Again, I went when I was 7, and I did not think about the city much after. And a part of it too is because, like, it was like a bunch of, one of their friends had like a house up there, and so like my parents and then like all of their friends and like their friends' families all went, because it was like a huge ass house with like multiple rooms. All went and stayed in like this giant ass house, and so like a good chunk of it was just kind of like board games and stuff, and then like during the day we would like go do a thing. But I remember the aquarium the most, and that was cool. Yeah.
Did it have like one of those things where you walk through a tunnel under the water?
Again, I was 7. I do want to say yes. But
I can neither confirm nor deny, but possibly?
And we're going to get one person on that listens to this that is just like, that Shed's Aquarium does not have that. They famously don't have that. The only thing I remember is being really excited because my parents bought me a baby seal stuffed animal, and it was the cutest thing ever. And being surprisingly devastated about how small seahorses were. Because seahorses used to be, like, my favorite animal. And, like, there's nothing wrong with microscopic animals, but I didn't, I thought that they were bigger. I thought that they were at least, like, fish size.
But no,
they're tiny little fuckers.
They're real small.
And it was rough. But yeah, it was fun.
It was fun, except for the seahorse revelation. Ooh, band name, I call it.
But yeah, so Matthew and I decided that we would plan a trip for each other in these different cities. I picked Salem, and Matthew picked Nashville.
Yeah.
Which was, I feel like, when I was thinking about trips, Nashville is a little out of left field for you, in my head.
So, I've always wanted to go there, but
Okay.
I think I only want to go there once.
Okay.
That's the vibe I get from Nashville, not having been to it. Because I mean, I like a certain kind of country music, which is like the older kind of country before it became like pandery to a certain demographic. And then I feel like it's a good food city, although I don't know that for sure. Well, I'm sure I will find out. But
I hope so. Also, like, we have no way of
we have no way of
knowing if we
quality.
made good choices or did something right.
Yeah.
I also, like, hit a point. We didn't set a budget for this, which I think might have been interesting. So if we want to try and do this again, maybe we'll try and set a budget. Because I didn't try to do the most expensive things, but then there's definitely a day that there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, well, also I had like an issue of some things didn't have like a concrete price for them, so I just kind of estimated. So my total that I came up with might not be 100% accurate for mine, so.
Yeah, my total also might not be completely accurate.
So I kind of explained why I picked Nashville. Why did you pick Salem?
2 reasons. One, I really like that witchy stuff. I think that it's really interesting, and I like the history around it. Learning about history in high school, like the Salem witch trials, are always really interesting to me. 2, my sisters and I were talking about, like, when it's safe to travel again, about going on a road trip, and one of them was like, oh, we should do Salem. Not realizing that it's, like, 15 hours away from us. And so I'm trying to, like, figure out if it's feasible.
Yeah. So
what it would be like. And I didn't want to do the work, so I made you do it.
That's fair. Is Salem where the witch trials happened? Because this might be awkward. I didn't do any witchy stuff. There was no witchy stuff to be found.
I saw the title of your presentation, and I know that's not true.
Speaking of our presentations, so basically what we did was we allotted like a 3-day weekend. I think
3 consecutive days. Mine's technically not.
Yeah, I didn't like specify like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but
So I don't know how you broke down your days, but each day I have like a little vibe that like runs down like what we're doing, and then I kind of named it.
So I did try to theme my days where each day has a theme, because I know you like a triptych.
I do.
That's
do
one
love
thing
a
I do know
triptych.
about you.
Really,
so, like,
it's the only thing to know about me.
So basically each day has a theme, and then I broke it down like breakfast, morning, lunch, afternoon, dinner, evening. I was that kid. I can tell by your face.
No, I did something very similar.
Okay, I was like, well, as I was doing it, as I was filling out my spreadsheet, I was like, am I thinking about this too hard?
I did something similar, and then the last day kind of deviates, because I was like, he's going to have to leave at some point.
I did that too. You don't have a night on the last day, because I'm like, you just leave. That's when you leave. I can't think of another night thing to do.
Oh, man. So at least we're that kid together.
Together we are that kid.
Granted, it's 3 days, but one of the afternoons is like a real 50-50 on if you're into it or not.
I did phone in one afternoon, but we'll get there. So do we just want to jump into those trips?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I can, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because my first slide is the stay, like your accommodations where you're gonna be.
We're the same person.
And I picked, it's called the Caroline House. It's like a historic inn. It's basically a bread and breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the noteworthy amenities are when you show up, you get some bubbly, so good champagne.
Heck yeah.
They have like a coffee bar, free like complimentary 24-hour snacks and beverages. Like
I noticed like, here you say Beveraginos.
Yeah,
is that the Italian?
I like I just like adding a little bit of spice to words sometimes.
just a little mustard on it.
Just go with it.
I like this porch.
Oh,
this is bad audio, but
I didn't finish this next line. It was supposed to be like a delightfully lovely hosts or something. I was like, that's a little like pat yourself on the back, but okay. But it does make it read on the slide that I made as a delightfully thick, quote unquote, thirsty bath terry. And on the website, it actually said thick, thirsty bath terry, and I have no idea what it means. I assume it's a towel. Like terry cloth.
You don't know what a thick, thirsty bath terry is?
It's either a thick bath towel or it is just a man named Terry that sits in the corner of your room and waits to dry you off. And then sometimes you thank him with a beverage.
I mean, either way, I'm into it.
It's a party.
Usually you gotta pay extra for that.
Wi-Fi, which I feel like is just kind of like a necessity now. And then less exciting, a furnished outdoor lounge with an outdoor fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
I could see you maybe on a night when you're not really feeling going out and being too wild, of just kind of winding down by this random person's outdoor fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
I did provide some pictures.
My pictures are still loading for some reason, but from what I see, it looks really nice. Looks like a nice little. It like,
is, and it's in kind of like a funky place, like a funky area. Not really funky area. It's in like a historic district, so I feel like there would be some like other pretty homes to kind of look at as you're going through the neighborhood. But no, it was fun, and I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. Let's do like accommodations, and then we'll get into the days.
Okay,
if that's cool.
Sure.
And
so my itinerary. Did you want to say what yours was called?
Oh, yeah. My whole, like, the whole theme is country cocktails and, you know.
Wink.
And then in parentheses, I did put culture, because I'm not nasty.
a little nasty, but, like, not enough to call your parents about.
What is your itinerary called, Matthew?
Mine is called Salem, Massachusetts. Kitschy, witchy, and chill. Which, those are the 3 themes of the day. Just so you know.
Oh, mine aren't really. Mine's not spaced out like that. I made that title before I planned the trip.
Okay, so you will be staying at the Amelia Payson's House B&B.
Ooh.
So it boasts a full breakfast, and they will accommodate dietary restrictions, but you do have to give them, like, forward notice, which is understandable. They got parking on site, which is always a plus.
Nice.
Cable, TV, free Wi-Fi, the big 3. Got a guest lounge. Does that guest lounge have coffee? Yes. Does it have water? Yes. Does it have soda? Yes. Does it have snacks? Yes. This place also has a covered deck with a fire pit. And yeah, that's where you'll be staying. And bonus, it looks like it might be haunted. Like, they don't explicitly say it, but you get that vibe.
It does look like it could have some ghosts in there. And if we know anything about Ryan, she loves ghosts. Yep.
And I mean, if anywhere, Salem's gonna be haunted.
Yeah. We hope.
Okay.
so we're getting into my day one.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said before, I made like an overall vibes, which I lovingly titled Tourist, but have fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of my vibe on vacations.
Yeah, and I feel like unless I just took a total swing and you hate, which please tell me. Like I want to know if I did wrong.
Okay, yeah, we can grade these at the end of the presentations.
Okay. But for breakfast, the vibes for the day, just to give you like a little hint, is coffee, music history, barbecue, art, estates and gardens, and cocktails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for breakfast, you're gonna go to the Sun Diner, which is right next to the location that you're going to after. So like you Uber one place and then you just bounce, and then I think that you just maybe I don't remember. I also didn't look too deep into like the concept of travel to places. I don't know.
Space does not exist on this trip.
Nope, everything's just right next door in my head. Probably not on a map, but I know for a fact that this one is right next door to the second place that you're going for the day. For this one, I started out being like, okay, pick his meal, and then towards the end of it, I'm just like, I just gave like a list of like different things that I thought you might enjoy.
Yeah, I just kind of, for mine, I just kind of gave a rundown of what they have. And I mean, like when I picked the price, I picked a meal, but it wasn't necessarily what you would want.
I kind of just like gave a little scan and like tried to like, and then also this is not a consistent thing that I did throughout. In the beginning, I was like, okay, try and factor in tip a little bit. Then at the end of that, I just dropped that. I'm like,
I did not factor that in at all because I'm a bad person.
Tip your servers, ladies and gents.
Yes, now more than ever.
Yes. But I did pick chicken and waffles for you. Is that like a vibe that you would, is that something you would pick off of a menu?
It's not something like I seek out, but I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
Especially in like, I feel like the South, which Tennessee, you're getting there. I feel like that's something I would go for because it's like the vibe of the area.
Well, that's your breakfast. You're going to go to the Sun Diner, and then you're going to saunter next door to the Johnny Cash Museum.
Okay.
And they have a special going right now.
Ooh.
Which I don't know in my head when you're going exactly, except for the afternoon session. I picked a day that you're going. Again, space and time are bullshit.
In this reality, I have all 6 Infinity Stones and I can just do whatever I want.
Exactly. But you'll go to the Johnny Cash Museum because right now you can buy a ticket that will also let you tour the Ryman Auditorium, which is the original Grand Ole Opry. And in my head, I was like, "That's Matthew. that's the period of country music that he likes."
Yes.
I don't know that Johnny Cash is your favorite, but I know that he's in that era, and I think you would have fun.
Yeah. He's got some good ones.
I'm sorry?
I said he's got some good ones.
He's got some good ones. And then lunch, I know that you like barbecue. I don't know the best barbecue place in Tennessee because, again, I've never been. And I don't see myself going in the near future. So I just had to pick. So I picked Martin's Barbecue Joint. And here's the thing. If anybody from Tennessee listens and I've picked the wrong places, tell me. Like, I want to know the good places to go. But I was flying blind. But it has, like, all your, like, smoked and pulled meats, and then burgers, salads, something called redneck tacos, which I don't think you would go for, but it was like the strangest thing on the menu, and I was like, oh, that's something to note. Is it just like
smoked meat on a tortilla? Okay.
Seems like it. But yeah, so you're going to Martin's Barbecue Joint for lunch. It's also in the downtown area, so I think that it's realistically close. And then in the afternoon is where we get to the first kind of step of like, I don't know exactly if you're going to enjoy this. I picked a place called Cheekwood Estate and Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
It is this really big. It's a mansion.
It's an estate and garden.
But yeah, it's an estate and it has gardens on the property. But inside it has like art exhibits and kind of traveling stuff. And then the $25 gets you access to the stuff inside the mansion, so you can like see all of the fun, how rich people lived back then, I guess. In the garden right now, they have a really, in my head, it's interesting art installation called Nature Pop. And it's made with Lego bricks.
Okay.
And it's all outside. It's just like a weird thing, and it's not there forever. But it's like a weird little addition that's like special right now that I think would be kind of fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
You can scroll down now.
Okay.
Because then for dinner and drinks, you're gonna stay at the Cheekwood Estate because they have. And by the way, you got in Thursday morning.
Okay.
Because they have a third Thursday event.
Mm-hmm. Not just any Thursday morning, the third Thursday morning.
Yes, the third Thursday morning. Specifically October 21st. Because that's the one that the drink sounded the best to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they do like a cocktail crawl. And so like you buy tickets and you get to stay like in the evening and you can kind of see, I don't know, sunset, I guess.
Just the vibe.
In the gardens. They just leave you. But they also bring like food trucks to the property.
Mm-hmm.
And the options for food trucks at the one I picked for you are called like Gypsy Crepe, which is just like a creperie, and they had some savory options.
Ooh.
Cousin's Maine Lobster, Yayo's of OMG, which I, for the life of me at this point, do not remember what it was.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. But the cocktails that they're serving that night are a lavender gin and tonic.
Ooh.
An apple mimosa, because it's starting to get into like fall times.
Mm-hmm.
Royal pecan pie.
That's a cocktail?
As a cocktail.
Huh.
Which might be interesting. It's Crown Royal whiskey and pecan liqueur.
Yeah.
And then a not so old fashioned, which is just like an old fashioned, but
with a
rum,
twist.
I think. Yeah. And then I let you go home after, because I did figure you would be tired after walking outside.
You know me so well.
Kind of drunk.
Yeah. So I will say, I don't think we've ever talked about this, but one thing I do love to do is look at old houses. So I love this. There's two things I love. It's looking at old houses and having a little drinky poo. If I can do them both at the same time, chef's kiss.
Good, I'm glad. Day one success.
So let's see if I did well on your day one.
Okay.
So, you're going to start at Jaho Coffee, I believe is how you pronounce it. So they got coffee, espresso, boba, pastries, flan, tiramisu. They also have, if you're not super into like sweet things for breakfast, they've got breakfast sandwiches, smoked salmon sandwiches. They got a pizza bagel, which is just like fancy bagel bites. Mm-hmm. They also have kombucha and cocktails. So if you want to get a little wild in the morning.
I mean, I am on vacation.
You are on vacation.
If you can't day drink on vacation, when can you?
Yeah. So yeah, that's your breakfast.
Okay.
So for the morning, you're going to go to Pickering Wharf.
Okay.
So this is the kitschy day.
Kitschy, gotcha. So, okay.
You're at Pickering Wharf. There's a maritime national historic site. Got some boats. Okay. Got some buildings. Yeah. Got some other maritime things, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And then once you get bored of that, because that feels more like a me thing, there are also some like, there's a shopping area near here that has like bookstores and like witchy Wiccan like type stores that you can kind of browse and peruse and look at.
Nice.
It's all just sort of like it very much feels like they know the vibe is witchy in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Then for lunch, you're on that coast of the Atlantic Ocean, so you gotta have some seafood.
Okay.
So you're gonna head over to Sea Level Oyster Bar. They got seafood, lobster rolls, tacos, pizza, drinks. So if you did drink at the coffee place and you weren't feeling it quite yet, you could still drink here.
Okay.
Day drinking all day.
You gotta keep the buzz up. If you lose the buzz, your day is off.
If you lose the buzz, then you're just looking at boats sober, and what's the point? Okay. So once you've thoroughly stuffed yourself with seafood to the point of maybe nausea, you can go walk it off at, I'm gonna assume it's pronounced Peabody because it's New England and that's how they say that, but it's the Peabody Essex Museum. So, disclaimer about museums. I don't know how I feel about them anymore. Because sometimes they got some art exhibits that's just like, should we have this here? Which, this museum is no exception. They got a lot of Asian art that I'm like, But they do have some beautiful maritime art. So if you want to look at some paintings of the ocean instead of just the normal ocean, you can do that. And right
I like
now,
that this is very nautical witch.
Yeah.
Sea witch, if you will.
Day one, when I was filling out my spreadsheet, was called The Sea. But the museum also has a really cool exhibit right now specifically called Sarah Hussein Breath. And it's like inspired by lockdown. It's like geometric shapes and like interactive stuff. I would recommend, like, if you can't make it there, at least go to the website and kind of look at it because it's pretty cool. And then, like I said, they have like some Asian art exhibits that I'm not sure how I feel about, but they got them. So
They're there.
I don't know. And then disclaimer on this one also, I couldn't find a price, so I assumed it was free. But I'm guessing like you have to pay for some stuff, and I'm not sure which stuff you have to pay for, so little disclaimer going into the price there.
So it might be like the Nelson where like there's like the general art for the regular people.
Yeah, there's like the general admission exhibit, and then like if you know somebody,
the extra art.
if you pay somebody $15, you can go lick a Monet or something.
I feel like it would cost more than $15 to lick a Monet.
You just gotta know the right person. So for dinner on
know the
day
right
one,
person, gotta be fast enough.
Yeah, gotta go fast. So for day one dinner, you're gonna go to Village Tavern.
Okay.
Which is just like basic American pub sort of thing. They got salad, flatbreads, sandwiches, mac and cheese, drinks, etc. And then for the night or evening, you're gonna go hang out at a little distillery called Deacon Giles Distillery. It's got like a little speakeasy. I think you can do like tours. But you know,
no, that wasn't even realizing that I should have done a fucking speakeasy instead of the fancy bar I made you go to.
I mean, it's fine. But they make their own rum, gin, and vodka. And they got some like specialty drinks and that kind of stuff. But I figured you could just kind of like hang out and vibe there. And then once you're done, like me, you can go chill by the fireplace at your B&B.
I love it. I would do all of those things.
And then that's your day one.
There we go. The maritime is a little off kilter for me,
That
but
was the part that I was
honestly like I'm not upset about it. I feel like I would have a lot of fun going.
Mm-hmm. It felt right for the area, but I wasn't sure if it felt right for Ryan.
Okay, so we're going into...
Sorry, I clicked forward and saw what the day two's vibe was.
Day two's vibes is identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized I was like, okay, I had you spending a lot of stuff, and then I had it felt like a big step. So I was like, okay. And so in the morning I was like, we're gonna kind of chill it down, go a little slower, and then afternoon, like after the afternoon, I was like, fuck it, this isn't a real vacation. We can go do something crazy. So I do have you just starting out with like you are at a B&B essentially. So like I was gonna have you utilize like the breakfast amenity that morning. Okay. And then I was gonna have you, I don't know why I didn't put pictures on this one, or if this slide just doesn't look finished, and I apologize.
It's okay. I was confused on the list, and this does not clear it up, but please explain.
Oh yeah, I didn't run through the so for day 2 we're doing quick breakfast, Parthenon, Thai lunch, shopping, dinner, and then drinks again. You drink a lot on vacation. That's just the rule.
Yeah, obviously.
So, Nashville has like a replica Parthenon.
Huh.
When they had like their 100 centennial, like they were called like the Athens of the South. And so they just went with it.
They were just like, that's our vibe now.
They have like a museum that it's like a full replica of like the OG, like super famous tall columns.
Huh.
You're not just time traveling to Greece. And a bunch of like Roman and Greek mythology type stuff.
Okay.
Kind of all around there, and it's in like a big park. I tried to get you outside because I know that you're an adventure boy, but you did pick like an urban city.
Yeah.
It's only $10 too, which I was like, that's a steal.
Yeah.
So I had you go there for the morning, and I figured you could peter around most of the morning. Also, like, when you wake up and leave your B&B is kind of up to you.
Yeah.
And then lunch, I kind of also took a swing. I picked a Thai restaurant.
I do like Thai food. I don't think we've ever talked about it, but I do like Thai food.
It's called Thai Esne. It looked really nice and pretty, and like I have like a picture of like a type of meal that you could have gotten there. Mm-hmm. It looked really nice. They have like pad thai, tom yum, drunken noodles, your basic Thai fare. They had like a few other things that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. My favorite Thai food is fresh rolls, which is like the easiest fucking thing and not.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. And then that afternoon, I was just gonna have you kind of like walk off your morning a little bit more with shopping. I picked 2 like vintage stores and then like an old record store.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about wearing like vintage clothing, which I think is usually like the most things that vintage stores have. Mm-hmm. But the 2 I picked, it looked like they had like other things too. Also, you are on vacation, so I don't know how much you're able to like take back with you, but we're just assuming that they ship to wherever you need them to ship
like
to.
Unlimited space. D&D rules.
Yeah. You just, after this, you just hop in your little TARDIS and you go.
Yeah.
But I picked the 3 stores that looked the most interesting to me. Mm-hmm. Because I figured that you would also pick up that vibe. And then like so I picked Starland Vintage and Unusual, Black Shag Vintage, and then Phonolux Records.
Okay. Yeah.
As like the vibe. The record store, like all the reviews I was reading about it were like, this has like the best selection of like old actual, like when records were like the main form of like music distribution, as well as like keeping up with current releases. Okay. So I was like, that feels like Matt's vibe.
Yeah. reminds me of when I used to go to like Eccentrics with my dad and we'd look at the vinyl and be like, yep, these are records.
And then this is where the identity crisis kind of comes in, and I kind of lost my mind a little bit. I found this restaurant that does an 8 to 12 course prefix tasting menu with drink pairing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you're like hoity-toity and like this is, but I feel like this would be like a fun experience, and I feel like it's something that you would want to do when you're not in a city that you live in all the time.
Mm-hmm. Because
if it's really amazing in the city you live in, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I can throw $165 down. So I picked this because I feel like it would just be, it's called the Catbird Seat, which is a very interesting name, and I feel like it's the only kind of name that I would want to go for a restaurant that does a 10 to 12 course prefix tasting menu.
Mm-hmm.
But they also offer drink pairing, as well as like alternative options if you don't like drink alcohol or just don't like a certain like they can work with you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was kind of like a weird diversion of what I was having you do for the day.
I mean, I don't hate it. Like,
no,
kind of like
definitely...
you said, like, if you do it feels like an experience you do once, where it's just like, that was cool. I'm not probably gonna spend $165 for 12 course tasting menu again, but
that is the most expensive thing I have you doing all weekend. And then afterwards, I figured you could hang out at a rooftop bar.
Ooh,
to get some
like
good skyline. It's not. I don't think so. At least.
Is that an infinity pool?
There is a pool on the roof, which hurts my head, but I just ignore that.
I wouldn't use it, but...
But no, I was focusing more on like the views that you can see past the pool.
Mm-hmm.
You got some good skyline moments and like just kind of like outdoor lounge, and they have like bougie cocktails and stuff. So I figured you'd have like a drink or two and then probably go home after again.
Yeah.
I would be tired after that day.
Well, I mean, I just ate 8 to 12 courses. Granted, they're not big courses, but still, that's a lot of food.
But yeah, that's day 2.
Okay.
I feel like it falls under identity crisis. I feel like that was an apt name for it.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. Okay. So, back to Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2 is Witch Day.
Ooh.
We're just gonna jam as much witch things into one day as we can. So, you are going to start your day at Ugly Mug Diner.
Okay.
They got your pancakes. They got your eggs Benny. Got some waffles. Got egg sandwiches.
I'm sorry, did you call it Eggs Benny?
Do what now?
I can't say Beveraginos, but you get to just walk around and say Eggs Benny.
I didn't say you couldn't say
like
Beveraginos. You explicitly did not say it. And I wanted you to say it. But they got your coffee, your tea, your chai, your mimosas, in case you just want to keep that drinks train a-rolling.
Keep that buzz going.
Yeah. So basically it sounds like a lot of the breakfast places, the breakfast places that I picked are kind of like more brunch-y, but I just set them as breakfast. So after you've drank a lot of mimosas and had your eggs Benny, you're going to go on Witch Tour Part 1.
Ooh.
So you're going to hit the Witch Dungeon Museum, which does have reenactors performing from adapted historical transcripts. Don't know what that means, but that's what the website said.
Okay.
Then you're going to do a little jaunt over to the Witch House, which was the home of the judge of the witch trials, and it examines the people involved in the trials. Also don't know what that means, but that's what the website said.
I assume it gives like biographies of like the women involved.
So
that sounds fun.
yeah. Keeping that witch trainer rolling, you're gonna go to lunch at the Witch's Brew Cafe.
Ooh.
They got salad. They got sandwiches. They got seafood. They got souvlaki for some reason. But
what is souvlaki? I feel like I've heard that word so much in the last 3 days, and I don't know what it is.
I know it's Greek. Both of our trips have surprising little splashes of Greek culture in them for some reason. But yeah, it just seems like a nice little cafe where you can get souvlaki.
Okay. I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the architecture in New England.
It's some strong architectural choices.
The window placement is just whatever they were feeling.
Very like arts and crafts, sort of just however the spirit moves you.
They let their children color on a page, and wherever like dug a little too deep with their pencil is where they just put a hole.
That's a window now. Okay, so in the afternoon, you're going to go to the Salem Witch Museum.
Okay.
Which examines the trials and the perception of witches throughout the years. Then I feel like you've hit 3 museums at this point. You probably just want to like chill for a bit. Okay. So you're just going to take a little walk to Salem Commons, which is a park and common area in downtown Salem. So I figured you just kind of chill there for the rest of the afternoon. Just take in some nature. Read a book I bought at the store the other day. Yeah. I'm sure it's related to the witch trials somehow, but there was no explicit connection besides just being near everything. So for dinner, you're going to go to Howling Wolf Taqueria.
Okay.
They got burritos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, just sort of general Mexican food. And then they also boasted bottled drinks, and they gave pineapple, mandarin, and fruit punch, but I could not figure out, like, what kind of bottled drinks besides the flavors. So I don't know exactly what that was, but it sounds good. I'd drink a pineapple drink.
I'd try it.
Yeah. Ooh, and then this evening, you are in for a treat.
Oh no.
Because you're going on the Bewitched After Dark historical tour at night. It visits several sites involved with the witchcraft trials. You're just walking around Salem with a tour guide. And you
it's
are
just
lucky.
Me and one tour guide, just me walking around with this dude.
Don't count him out just yet, because Jeff got real good reviews online. People love Jeff. Like, he's a really good tour guide.
Okay.
Which is why it's $30.
I just pay. I feel like for $30, if it's a tour of just me and one man named Jeff, he has to promise me at one point he does fight a ghost.
I mean, I can't say he doesn't. He got good reviews. But yeah, so after you hang out with Jeff for $30, you can just go back home and kind of hang out for the rest of the evening until you fall asleep. And that's day 2.
All right. I'm here for it. Very witchy, very
Jeffy.
A lot of things all at once, and I get to hang out with some dude named Jeff. I'm here for it. All right. Your third day in Nashville. Day 3 vibes are reflection. I would assume at this point that Matthew and his introverted self would be very drained about being around people.
Yes.
So, day 3, I'm building in that you're just sleeping in that day. You don't go to breakfast, you go to brunch.
Okay.
So the vibes for the day are reflection, which is not really, you're not really reflecting on anything. Maybe at brunch you're just like, huh, what a fun weekend.
Maybe at brunch I'm just sitting there like, what's it all about?
So you're going to sleep in, we're going to have a little brunch babe moment, brewery tour, and then say la vie, goodbye Nashville. The restaurant I picked is called Etc.
Ooh.
They have just like kind of your average brunch fare, eggs Benny, as the youth call it, apparently.
You would know you're younger than me.
Mimosas, Bloody Marys. Keeping it super simple, just kind of like letting you decompress, hang out, because in the afternoon you do have a brewery tour.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be going to Jackalope Brewery.
Ooh, love the
it's
name.
only $10.
Oh.
It includes an exclusive beer tasting.
Ooh.
In the loft with one of their storytellers. I don't know what that means, but they did not expand.
In my head, I'm picturing somebody telling like myths and tales, but like in a very showy way. And it's
hope
beautiful.
So. I imagine like very long beard, one of those like blacksmithing aprons, even though I know that you don't have to wear that for brewing. Brewing
is right.
Brewing. With like one of those big sweaters, like those super thick sweaters.
Like the cable knit
Yeah.
sort of thing? Yeah.
Super big, it's got a turtleneck, and he's just like regaling these long stories about how he had to like fight pirates for the hops in this beer. Is what I
Love
hope it is.
Yeah.
Probably not, but in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest thing. You get to take a pint glass with you.
Ooh.
And you get like a 45-minute tour of the production facility. So again, super chill. And then you're going to kind of like let that go into the evening because they have a place called The Ranch that just kind of, it's like in the tap house.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to keep drinking beer, and then they have like charcuterie and small bites.
Ooh.
That you're just going to eat until you have to hop on a plane and go home.
Get full of meat, cheese, and beer, and then go hop on a plane.
Perfect. And that's day 3.
So, you wake up the next morning.
The next morning.
You've just
watch Jeff fight a ghost.
You've just had the experience of your life with Jeff. You're not going to go out for breakfast. You're going to take advantage of that perfectly catered meal to your dietary needs from the Amelia Payson house.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I said this, but the vibe is chill. So, next thing you're going to do, you're going to go to the Forest River Conservation Area.
That looks spooky.
Yeah, it looks like a place where you might find a dead body. Not going to lie. But here you're just going to do some hiking, you're going to do some vibing. You're going to look at the foliage, because I don't think I said this, but I planned this as like an October thing, even though that's probably the worst time to go there. Because I'm sure that's where when everybody goes there. But yeah, so you're just going to go look at nature. You're probably going to see some birds. Maybe some other wildlife.
Jeff is going to pop up.
Yeah, Jeff, the ghost of Jeff, because he did lose that fight, unfortunately. But he's going to like Obi-Wan Kenobi force ghost you in the distance and just kind of nod, and you're going to nod in knowing respect. And then you're going to go head back into town for lunch at the Glue Goo Cafe. Now, they got soup, salads, crepes, sandwiches, craft beer, coffee, etc., etc. You know the drill. You can get beer or you can get coffee, depending on whether you need an upper or a downer. Depending on how you feel about Jeff dying. And then in the afternoon, you're just going to have a chill day.
Yeah.
There are other things like the House of Seven Gables, the Salem Wax Museum, more shops that I did not build into the itinerary. But yeah, so you're gonna hit the places that maybe you saw that weren't necessarily on the itinerary, but we're just like, I want to check that out. But yeah. So for dinner, you're gonna go to Bella Verona. They got like Italian food, pasta, fish, meat. They got a extensive wine list. Got some beer, port, cordials. And yeah, that's how you're going to finish out the day, because I did not do a night thing, because I just, like, that's when she leaves.
I feel like after a 3-day weekend, though, like, you do need to, like, recuperate.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going out and drinking for most of the time.
Yeah. So that is your Salem trip.
I did put two questions and kind of two guesses, because both of us were keeping tabs on, like, how much the things cost.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like you to guess how much this trip is gonna cost you to go to Nashville.
Okay. I assume it's going to be more than Salem.
Surprisingly, yes, which is not something I expected, because Nashville is, like, more Midwestern, and, like, I feel like once you get into, like, coastal New England areas, I feel like prices are just, like, skyrocketing.
Yeah,
but it
I
doesn't
feel
look
like
like that's the case.
I feel like Nashville is like bigger city though. It's like bigger city Midwest and smaller city coast.
And also it's more commercialized.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that Salem is not commercialized, but I feel like it's more mainstream commercialized.
Yeah. My guess for the price of this trip is $1,754.
For one person, 1,780. So
Whoa!
You're pretty dang close.
That's the closest I've ever been with a money guess on the show. And it's my birthday.
Yeah, that was, like, really, really close.
Is that why you
took
kind of
another
paused?
person, the outings, I assumed, like, if you took a second person, you guys could probably figure out how to share the room, so I didn't make you buy a second room.
I made the same assumption.
And I just doubled the outing.
That's how I figured mine too.
Look at us, same brain bros.
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
We share one brain cell. But for two people, it is $25.10.
Okay.
For the
I feel
whole
like
trip.
in the grand scheme of things, for a 3-day weekend, that's not terrible.
No. I think split between two people, it would not be under 1,000. I'm so shit at math. I was like, that'll be under 1,000 a person. It won't be, but it won't be 1,780 per person exactly either.
Yeah. How much do you think the Salem trip is going to cost you? Taking into consideration, I did assume this was October.
See, the thing is I looked at Airbnbs. Was the B&B listed on Airbnb?
I don't.
Or was it just
so?
Did you find it through, like, its own website?
I think I just kind of searched Salem, like, hotels or something, and it was one of the ones I found.
Okay, because I know I looked at Airbnbs in October, and those prices get jacked up. Like, insanely.
They definitely, they had, like, a rate for each season, and October was its own season, and it was the highest.
Okay.
Because they know when people are coming.
I'm gonna say 1,200.
1141 is the number I came up with.
Whoa!
So I came up with 1141 for one person, and then 1532 for two people.
Huh.
Yeah, it's $375 per night in October for one room there.
I think in Nashville it was like $350 a night for the place I was looking at.
Mm-hmm. If you go in, like, the off season, it's only like 200 something. But since it was October, that I kind of went for, like, the highest price, so, like, you'll know, like, the ceiling of what you'll probably hit. But yeah, we're good at guessing today.
We are. I do think that you got closer, because you were only, like, you were in the tens of digits off. I was still.
You're like 60.
Yeah. And you were like 12 to 15 off.
Somehow.
Hell yeah. Would you go on the trip I planned for you? In its entirety. And if you say no, it's okay.
In its entirety. I think so. I would have liked some more live music.
I did. I kept like,
But
okay,
I
it was
feel like
really hard for me to gauge that
hmm
because everything's getting canceled, and so I can't get decent ticket prices.
yeah, that was my caveat to that was like it was probably hard to figure out live music at this moment in history. But
But I would agree if I was able to pick live music, and that was another thing I didn't want to just like guess artists.
but um but yeah, you hit kind of everything I was wanting, and then there was some little surprises in there, like the Parthenon, for some reason. Which I mean, I don't hate because I do like history. Yeah, I think I would go on it. Would you go on the Salem one?
I would, but I would have to learn how to talk like a pirate first. Because on those maritime days, I
So I've heard before, if you want to sound like a pirate, you just talk like Shrek.
no, that's if you want to read Chaucer.
No,
You
I've heard
silly
both.
boy.
I've heard. I think I've heard both. But yeah, there were a couple things in this where I was like, I don't know about these, like the conservation area and the maritime stuff.
I don't know. The maritime stuff, like, when you said it, I was excited about it. I was like, hell yeah, I want to go hang out on a boat for a bit. Do you get to go on the boat, or do you just have to look outside the boat?
I would assume. I don't know for sure. I assume you get to go on the boat because I mean, it seems rude to have a boat and not let people on it.
Especially if you're charging money.
Yeah.
I would go. I would. I think that I would have fun. The conservation area is maybe not as much my speed, but I would show up.
I'll be 100% honest. I was running out of stuff.
I definitely hit that moment.
But I mean, it looked like a vibe.
Yeah, I feel like it's a vibe. I would go there, take pictures, and then once that was over, I would hang out with the trees and sticks for like 20 minutes, and then I'd be like, all right, let's go look at the store I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Which you built into the day, which is good. I also like that you gave me room for my ADHD. If like before we leave, I want to go to this one thing. And so you gave me a chunk of afternoon to do just that. Oh, last question I kind of have for this. Like, out of the vacation I planned, what's like the high point? What's the one that's like very on brand for Matthew? And what's kind of like the, I don't know about that moment for you?
So I feel like when I go on vacation, I tend to do more touristy things.
Okay.
So I think the spot on thing is the Johnny Cash Museum and the Ryman Tour. Because that feels like a very on brand Matthew experience where it's just like, I went on TripAdvisor and found this sort of thing. I think maybe the rooftop bar is the questionable one. But I mean, I don't hate the vibe because I do like staring at skylines at night. But I don't know. I don't know that I feel like stock traders drank here.
That's so yes, I feel like that's a very accurate depiction. I just couldn't. I feel like all rooftop bars have that same vibe, and so like that one was like the least like.
The least.
This is where finance bros go to.
Yeah. Which I mean, I don't think I hate it, but it's just I would have to be there to figure out what the vibe is. Mm-hmm. And that's
so maybe not that one, but because my thing was like just get him up tall so he can see. Mm-hmm. That was the only vibe I was trying to go for, was like getting you up so you can see the skyline, because I did think you would appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you go to any city, you try to see the skyline.
I do love a good skyline. I do want to give an honorable mention to the Cheekwood Estates, though, because I feel like that's also a vibe that I enjoy. So what on the trip that I planned for you is like a yes, this is a Ryan thing, and what is a maybe not thing?
So
like
definitely,
I know the answer, but
definitely the bookstore and metaphysical shop. The kind of, the one that I'm least sure about is maybe the haunted tour. And not because it's not interesting, but because I would have to go alone with a man named Jeff.
So I don't think it's just you and Jeff. I think like it's
He takes groups
Jeff
of people.
in a group. Yeah.
Okay. That might be a little bit better. In which case it might be the conservation area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, like I would go. Like it's not that I wouldn't want to go and see it. It's just when I'm on vacation, I tend to be more like, let's exist in the town with the people and not let's go be a wood witch for a while.
Yeah, that was definitely the one where I was like, this is 100% a Matthew thing and not a Ryan thing.
But I would enjoy it 100%. And then the surprising thing is like the Pickering Wharf. Like I feel like I would have so much fun there. But I don't know that it's something I would have picked just looking.
Yeah.
But hearing about it, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go on that boat.
Gotta get on that boat. But yeah, and I mean, the wharf and like those shops and everything, they're all like walking distance from each other. So it's all like that one little area from what I can tell. Never been.
In my idea of Salem's layout.
In my head.
They're just steps away from each other. Well, hell yeah, this was fun. This was a lot more fun than I thought. I kind of want to keep this up and maybe try it again with a different place. If we did this again in the future, what would you want to do differently about it? Obviously, different areas. I think it might be fun to try and like work within a budget.
Yeah, I think a budget could be interesting. Because I wasn't 100% sure how like the total was going to work until I did it. Because like a lot of the stuff is just like, I'm going to have to estimate some of this because it's shopping. So I'm just going to say $25. But
that's another thing where we're different. When I had your shopping day, I was just like $150 per person.
Well, I also had like free shopping days in here, so
Yeah. That's not real money.
Out. Yeah.
Budget would be interesting, and maybe like similar-esque places. So like we either both pick or not both pick the same. Although that could be interesting if we pick the same place.
And see how different it is, yeah.
And see how different.
I think instead of the person making the itinerary setting the vibe, it would be interesting if the person giving the city set a vibe.
Ooh, I would like that too.
Because, I mean, I feel like when I said Nashville and when you said Salem, we both got the vibe we were going for. But I think it would be an interesting constraint to be like, I want Nashville, but I want witchy.
Oh my god, that would be so fun. We should definitely do that next time. Definitely when I was naming everything, I've been rewatching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. And like the big thing that they do at the beginning of the runway is category is and then something. And so like in my head I was like, the vibe is tourist, but have fun with it.
The vibe is identity crisis.
So Matthew, do you have any final thoughts on the episode?
It was more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Not that I thought it was gonna be bad, but it's just like I'm not sure how this is gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go to Nashville now and see the Parthenon for that one time. And yeah, I feel like you picked things that I would enjoy doing, which is all I could ask for. What are your final thoughts?
Again, I thought this was a lot of fun. I would like to do it again. And I think with the restraints that we were talking about, it could be really fun to keep going and kind of just like build out. And then eventually one day I'd like to go on one of these trips.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday when the world's a little less on fire. But yeah, I know this was a lot more fun. It was a interesting thought experiment for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. And 7 years ago.
I knew you were going to say that. So this has been Rhetorical Magic Cocktail Hour. Be good to one another. Hang out. Be safe. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated.
Be chill. Have identity crises.
Do some witchcraft. Follow us on socials at Rhetorical Magic. And as we say at the end of every episode, clink, clink.
Those are both bad. Clinks that are good. You step off that boat and you can buy a witch Bible.
A witch Bible?
I don't know witch stuff.
Oh, man.
Jokes that are gonna get cut. That was a special segment of jokes that are gonna get cut. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast.